Hey guys, welcome back once again. Today I thought I'd do more of like a simple special effects tutorial for you guys, I guess you'd call it. I'm going to show you 4 ways to do kind of cuts or lacerations or scratches or anything that you really want to do to give it that beaten up kind of look. This is all in preparation for a look I have coming tomorrow. So I will be, just for the purpose of filming this, I will be doing them on my face as it is kind of the easiest for you to do and for me to do in the mirror without having to move the camera. So one of them will be with some paints and some blood. Another will be with latex. Now last time I put latex on my face, I did have a slight reaction. So this is going to be to see if my skin has improved at all over that time. But I'm thinking I might do the actual latex cut on my forehead as I feel like my cheeks were just extra sensitive, and this one is bright red for no apparent reason, and it has been for like 2 days now. So I'm just going to get you to pretend that that's not there. The third one will be with some 3rd degree or just a silicone based sculpting product. And lastly, gelatin. Now I'm just going to try and do this straight onto my face so it gives you an alternative to having to make an actual mold of a prosthetic and whatnot. And I haven't actually directly applied gelatin to my face in a really long period of time. Now I'm going to give you the warnings before I get started. Applying gelatin straight to your face when it is melted can be quite dangerous if it is at too high of a temperature. You do need to seriously make sure that whatever you're putting on your face is not too hot, as it will actually cause burns and whatnot. And you don't really want that. A good way of testing this is always just applying a little bit to the inside of your wrist before you apply it to your face. You can get a good gauge of the temperature there. As well, with latex or any other product that you have never tested on yourself, guys, it's always a wise idea to patch test again, just on the inside of your arm to make sure that you do not have any severe reactions to it, as people do have allergic reactions to latex. But I think first things first, I might do the latex first up as that needs to dry. So if I do that first, forget about it and do the other ones and come back to it and colour it and whatnot once it's dry. So I think we might start with it that way. When doing latex, you will want something to kind of be the actual body of it, to give it some volume, as latex is quite thin and you'd have to do a lot of layers to actually build it up. Also, when working with latex, guys, don't wear clothes that you may want to wear again, because if you do get it on your clothes, you will not get it off your clothes and you're going to have a little latex spot on your clothes. And I've got a fair few of them, so I'm not wearing anything that I'm going to be too heartbroken if I do spill latex on. I actually kind of want to do a little tester, as I have done cuts and stuff with all of these products before. I want to do something that I haven't done before, so we can go on a little learning journey together. And that is thickened Prosade. It's what I use to blend around edges of my prosthetic that are too high, and I do believe it's also what they put in Prosade transfers. Now this is what it looks like. I'm pretty sure it will be tacky at the end, so we will have to find a way to work around that, but this is what it looks like. See, it does not come out. It pretty much looks like a hand lotion. I'll do the latex, I'll do the Prosade, I'll do a 3rd degree, I'll do the gelatin, and then I'll do the painted on one, and then I can colour in the rest of them. Now I'm starting to wonder if I have enough space on my face. Now I'm going to use a cotton bud for the latex, as I don't want to ruin a brush or a sponge. Thinking, yeah, I'll do a cut just across here for the latex, so I'll zoom in a bit so you can see. I might even put on my lovely headband just so my little baby hairs don't get stuck in latex, because guys, I've said it once, I'll say it again, latex sticks to everything. You think you may not have any hairs here? You do, trust me. Unless of course you shave your face, then you don't. But you'll have little hairs there, and it's going to be slightly painful to get off. Okay, before I get started, I'm going to unroll this. By this, I mean the little cotton ball. And yes, I didn't realise that they were little rolled up things either until, was it Glam & Gore? Somebody showed me. I was like, my life has been a complete and utter lie. And I feel like you actually missed all of that because I think my camera just cut out. But I've just put a little base of latex, then the first layer of cotton, and I'm about to cover that cotton in latex. I'd also highly recommend having a sculpting tool. Sorry, there is a hair attached to that. A sculpting tool of some kind that you can push the latex back with.
So I do find it much easier to do each side of the cut at a time with latex, as cotton can be really hard to separate in little clumps. So if you work with one bit of like cotton as one side and then come in and do the other side like this, I find it much easier to get a nice smooth cut.
Okay, so while I wait for that to dry, I'm going to go in with the Prosade, and I might do that directly beside. Now I'm going to use a cotton bud as well for this. I'm not sure what tool is going to be best for the Prosade, so this is going to be a little bit of a learning curve, just so you guys get an idea of the thickness of this. Like, it is a full dollop, it's not like runny really at all, which I'm hoping means that it can build up really quite nice and doesn't spread around too much, but we'll see. I'm going to do a smaller cut for this one as well. Now I'm just going to go in with this pointed sculpting tool. Now it is quite sharp. If you did have a more blunted one, that'd be ideal, but that is the thinnest thing that I have. I'm hoping that it's because it's metal as well, it won't stick to it, but one way to find out. Let's try that. I'll see if you guys can get a good look at the side on view. I have left a bit of a chunk up here that makes it look like it's kind of torn a little bit. Now I probably made the latex too far apart, but look, it's too late now. Also, highly off topic, but I bought myself the Anastasia Beverly Hill Dip Brow. This is the first like high-end product style thing that I've bought, and I'm in love with it. This is what I did my brows with today, because I did my brows and was like, that's all I'm gonna do. And then I was like, ooh, my brows look a little bit severe without having any other makeup. So then I did my eyes, and I was like, oh, just a subtle lip to go with the eyes, Evie. Really, that's the color you chose for a subtle lip? Okay, next up I'm gonna go with the 3rd degree. And I'm thinking maybe I want to do that like on the nose. For those of you who have never used 3rd degree before, where is that? It is a silicone-based modeling compound. So you need to take A and B and put them together in a separate container. Now you want to be careful not to mix either of the two together when doing that, as they will cure each jar and will be ruined, and it's not the cheapest product out there by any means. So ideally you want a spatula labeled A and a spatula labeled B. And I like to just label the other one C, so you know that you're not going to put it in the wrong pot and whatnot. Also, the lids are labeled, so you do not mix them together, otherwise that would also cure them. So you really want to have equal parts, I know that looks kind of terrifying now, equal parts A and B, and just really mix it together, and you've got about 5 minutes, I'd say, to work with it before it starts to set. If you're wanting this to last a really long time as well, you can always put an adhesive down on top of it, as it is not necessarily a sticky product like latex and Prozaid. Spirit gum would work fine, or a little bit of Prozaid, just something so it does have a little bit more grip to it. Otherwise, if you are just using it for photos, it works perfectly fine. The edges shouldn't lift as long as it's not in a really moving area. Quite similar to gelatin in that sense. This might have a little bit more stick to it, but gelatin's saying you want to have something sticky underneath if you want it to last a long time. Now, this is the tool that I like to work with. It's got like a flat spatula and then a slightly pointed one. Once these mix together, they do get a little bit soft and runny, so you want to be slightly careful not to drip it everywhere, because like latex, if you get silicone on your clothes and it actually gets into it and not just on it, you won't be able to get it out either. But I'm going to stop talking so it doesn't cue out while I'm trying to talk. So that's all the silicone that I needed. If you wanted to have it really deep, I'd highly recommend letting this cure a fair bit more before you try and add the next layer. As I said, it is quite sloppy in the beginning, so it can start to drip and you can get not nice lines if you try and rush it. Now I'm just going to chat with you a little bit while I wait for these to dry before I do the gelatin, because that will set relatively quick. The reason I'm not doing skull wax in this is because I don't find it a practical product to use over Halloween. It's nice for like the wow factor of like photos, like the incredible powder. I'm sure if you have found me, you already know who I'm talking about. If not, I will leave his Instagram and YouTube linked down below, but he works with skull wax. He is incredible with it. Like, it's astounding the stuff that he can do with it. And it looks really good, but it's not practical to wear out to a Halloween party, as it is pretty much a modeling wax. So if it gets bumped, if it gets knocked, it'll lose its shape, it won't bounce back. It does have its ups, it does have its downs. That is its major down. Perfect for photos and stuff that's not going to get moved around a lot. I mean, I find it hard to put skull wax onto my cheeks and anywhere that is soft, as it just moves. And although it is beginner friendly, I do feel like it is quite hard to work with to get the shape that you actually want. So these are my 5 options now that work a little bit better than skull wax for what we want it for. Now I'm thinking I want like maybe the gelatin one here, and I'll paint one on here. Yes, that sounds like a good idea. I'm gonna go microwave the gelatin. So for any of you guys wondering how to make Special Effects gelatin, it is equal parts, or the way that I do it anyway, is equal parts water, glycerin, and gelatin powder. Now for gelatin, you need to work reasonably fast, as once it starts to cool down, it will set and you won't be able to move it from there. So this might be a little bit trickier than I think it might be.
So I end up doing the painted first, not the gelatin. So I'm going to do the painted and then I'll do the gelatin after. Sorry for any confusion.
Now I think I'll get on to, I guess I'm going to just paint here. Now this is going to be with the two Ben Nye wheels. This is of course the Bruise wheel and this is the Monster wheel. I pretty much only want the white and the two darker colors out of the Monster wheel and the red out of this one, out of the Bruise wheel. So I like it to start with the red and kind of just map out the shape of the cut.
Just keep in mind when doing cuts as well, guys, usually they aren't symmetrical or even, so don't be too worried if it's not straight and perfect. It'll probably make it look that little bit more realistic if it's not.
And you really just want to kind of darken the wound in the middle, kind of bring it lighter to the outer edge. Now I'm pretty sure the dark in the Bruise is the same as like the dark red in the Monster wheel, so don't stress too much about that. I'm just going to go in with that. Then going in with this like almost purple shade. Don't stress too much about how perfect it is. I'm going to go in with scab blood after that and kind of cover over most of it so it looks like there is actually blood in the wound. Just cleaning off the brush, I'm going to go in very lightly with the first red that we used.
So just going in with the red, you kind of want to give it a little gap away from the wound and just kind of create a little bit of redness and irritatedness and make it look that little bit raised.
Then in with the white, going in and on, like in between that gap from the wound and that red that we just put down, just applying the white as a bit of a highlight. Now going in with the scab blood on a pointed tool, depending on how wide it is, you may need to go thinner than this. And there is just a simple painted on one. Okay, so it looks like gelatin is ready to roll. This is looking much thinner and isn't as stringy, which hopefully is a really good sign. It's quite a wide gash. It's not as easy to work with. I'm going to bring these back up to the top and I'll colour them in first and then I'll colour in the rest of them. Trying to think the best thing to do, I might just use some foundation and try and go over that. However, I may have to put it all over my face because it might be slightly off colour. Okay, so I really don't think it looks too bad. I'm not going to put foundation over my entire face if I can help it. Now this one is still slightly like tacky, like I can touch it, but I wouldn't want to squish it, if that makes sense. I'm going to be very gentle with this one. So I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, but latex seems to like catch the product a lot more and doesn't give the right coloration. I don't think it's quite coming up right though. At the moment, this Prozaid one is actually winning for me, as well as the Silicone 3rd Degree. But I mean, of course, they are the more pricier products out of them all. I think I might try and color them all with the Bruise wheel as well. I might use some other bloods, but I think I want to use the Bruise and the Monster wheel if I can. So there we have it, guys. That is all of them. I will take you up close and personal each cut and just kind of talk you through the ups and downs of them. But we've got what, the latex, the Prozaid, the 3rd Degree, the gelatin, and just drawn on one. So with the latex one, I don't mind it. I feel like it's really easy to do for beginners. It is quite a readily available substance, product, whatever you want to call it. And I mean, it really doesn't look too bad. However, I do feel like your movement is restricted, as it can look fake once you start to move your head and whatnot. And I mean, other than the fact that it doesn't have the texture, like it can be a bit lumpy and stuff, I do like that it's not shiny like the gelatin. I do feel like it is a much nicer finish to it. I will admit though, with latex, it does grip products more. I mean, maybe you could put a cover of Prozaid or something over and it wouldn't, but I just know that when you're putting actual foundation and other products on, it can grip. Like up here, the red got really attached to it, which I mean, it doesn't look too bad, but it's not perfect. Next up, we've got the Prozaid. I do quite like this for simple little cuts. I don't know if I'd want to do something any bigger with it, but I do like the fact that it's not as shiny. Like it's not shiny, it's got quite a matte finish. I do feel like if you then put a sponge over it as it was drying and gave it a little bit of texture, it would blend into the skin a lot better. And if I took a little bit more time to blend out the edges, it would probably be that little bit better as well. But I do quite like the way that the product stuck to it. I do quite like the way that it moves. Once it is set, it is soft, like it doesn't set hard like latex does. I nearly think that this is my favorite out of them all. Just texture and the ease of use, pretty much. Next up, we've got the nose, which is the silicone, which I do really quite like. I probably should have spent a little bit more time on the blending the edges. It is quite hard to see because it is a clear product when you are putting it on, and then once it dries, you're kind of like, oh, I should have worked on that a bit more. but at that time it's too late. I probably went a little bit overboard with the blood on this. I do like the movability of it as well though. It's not restricted when you move your face, if that makes sense. Like it's not like the latex that gets quite firm. I think this would have to nearly be my second, if not third favorite. Next is the gelatin. I don't like gelatin in the sculpting sense. I like it for casting, but I don't know if you guys are getting it, but it is really quite reflective. Like it's shiny, it hasn't got the texture that skin usually would. It doesn't have nice smooth edges as it's really meant. It doesn't stick. It's not a sticky product. I mean, you could probably get away with sculpting it on a flat surface easier and then applying it to your face with some glue. That might be easier, but that's not what I did. And I just feel like the product doesn't stick to it as nice either. And lastly is this chin piece. I really quite like it. It's simple, it's quick. You don't have to fiddle around waiting for stuff to dry. You can just get right into it straight away. I mean, it's not perfect by any means. I am no artist, but if you're just wanting a quick, simple, effective cut, I think this is the way to go. If you are really wanting that extra detail, you can get your hands on some rigid collodion and put that on your face as it then shrinks and sucks it in and makes it look like a scar. If you did that, you could nearly get away with it probably that little bit better. And from afar, this does look good. Obviously, up close, people are gonna know that it's not actually cut in your face. But there you go, guys. That is my little rundown. Of course, cost-wise, I think latex would probably be the winner. You still need the products to color it, so regardless. In terms of if you need to do something fast and quick, I do think the latex and the actual paint on is probably your best option as well. I really don't like the way that gelatin looks on your face when it's not in prosthetic form. Just on your face like that, I don't think it does the right job. It's just not what it's made for. But if I was wanting something really quite nice, Prosade I think is the best way to go. If not the third degree, they probably do about the same. I just feel like the Prosade isn't going to come off anytime soon, whereas the silicone I could peel off if I really wanted to. I think for the actual tutorial tomorrow, I might use the Prosade, if not the silicone, as I just feel like they'll be the best and the easiest for that, especially if you are wanting to wear them out for long periods of time. I think these two are the best options, if not the Prosade and the latex, as they will not go anywhere. They are kind of self-adhered to your skin. However, I hope you found this tutorial slightly helpful in deciding on what or how to create these wounds. I would love to hear all your guesses of what the look is going to be tomorrow, so please leave them down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on that little notification bell so you do not miss out on any of the tutorials I have coming for you this Halloween, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!